Welcome back, everybody, to Empyrion Galactic Survival. I am the Bearded OG. In this episode, we're going to get started by finishing up our tasks here at the abandoned base. So, I have retrieved most everything from the base, and took a little bit of time to try and kind of consolidate some stuff. But as you can see, you know, these bins here are getting pretty damn full, and everything in these bins, for the most part, if not entirely, are whole blocks and or components as opposed to, you know, raw materials. So that's all in there, and then we got those guys in there, which are pretty massive. Now, I also put 2 additional bins down here because I didn't get the CPU extenders, which I realized when I was editing the last video that I had missed those, and we're gonna go grab those. But what we're gonna do when we get back up here is we're gonna take everything in these 6 yellow bins and we're gonna just feed it right into the factory. But I'm gonna keep the CPU extenders and take those back to the base and use our deconstructor to get the optronic bridges and matrices. And we'll also get some Arrestrum and Zascosium and other stuff out of them too. One of you guys suggested I do that in the comments, and that's a great suggestion, because the thing is if I just feed the CPU extenders directly into the factory, I won't get the bridges and matrices, because I'll just get the stuff, you know, that they were made out of. Okay, I want to show you a couple of things down here. Okay, well, let's just go down here and do this part first. There's a hole in the ceiling. The CPU extenders are down here, and so what we're going to do is go to CPU A, attach to that, and then make sure we're on retrieve blocks. Okay, so that's a tier 3. This is a tier 3. That's a tier 4. Oh, wait. Oh, that's a tier 4. This is a tier 2. Okay. Nice. A tier 4. Okay, so I don't think we're going to have room. Well, we might. Let's just see what happens. Okay. And another tier 4. Holy shit. Wow. These things are super valuable. Can we fit that one in there? Yeah, we can. Okay, so we were able to fit all of those in there. Yeah, that is some seriously high value stuff right there. But I am going to melt them down in the deconstructor, because I'm not planning on building anything from scratch in this vanilla series, because our focus is more storyline. So anything that we do, we're going to just bring in from the factory. So that's why we're going to, you know, feed all this other stuff into the factory. But the factory also requires some optronic, you know, matrices and bridges and all that shit, and so that's why I need those items specifically to feed into the factory for, you know, the capital vessels and other stuff we'll need later. Okay, now behind here there was a block blocking this. Behind here there was a crate, and this is what was in the crate. Okay, and so we got that, and then also I discovered a secret area over here. Yeah, right down here. So I punched a hole in here, and I found this area in here, and then inside this area there was some lockers. Actually, no, this area you could get to from over through here. This wasn't the hidden area, but this block wasn't here. I cut it out. But this room was. And inside this room there was a whole bunch of... Oh, there's a thingy. Yeah, let's grab that. There was a whole bunch of cryopods where I got, you know, some food rations and some medical supplies. And there was also some lockers in these rooms, and from there I got like another sniper rifle and a couple other weapons, I believe it was. So yeah, very cool. Alright. So for the most part, like I said, I have retrieved all the components from here. But there's still, a massive amount of blocks. So if I need, a bunch of steel blocks or whatever, we can come back in here and get all that stuff. Looks like I forgot this, so I'll grab that too. And a couple other things in here. Grab you and you. Okay. Guess we could grab those too. That'll probably give us carbon substrate, I'm guessing. Okay, so let's go back up topside and start feeding that stuff to the factory. Now, something else that I want to point out that I realized after someone left me a comment to this effect, and that is that I've made a big noob mistake, and I'm blaming you guys for not telling me, because your job is to help me remember how to play this game. I'm just teasing, mostly. My noob mistake is that I've been running around with an EVA boost this whole time. And this, notice that this reduces my armor by 80. And so no wonder I was dying so fucking easy. So, you shouldn't do that. I shouldn't do that, and I'm not going to. Unless, you only want this on when you're spacewalking, essentially. Or if you need some serious cold protection. So I completely forgot about that until somebody had made a comment about the EVA boost, and I remembered, oh, right, I'm not supposed to be wearing that. And so that contributed greatly to the number of times that we just got, one-shotted by some of these monsters. So from now on, we won't be wearing this unless we are actually going into space. Now, we do want to make sure we keep it in the Stingray so it is available for us to put on. So let's make sure we keep it in here. But what that does mean is I can now put this radiation boost on instead. Because why not, right? It will... Yeah, it gives us a radiation protection of 7. Has very, very minor effect on our speed and acceleration multiplier. So let's put it on. There's no reason not to. Cool. Okay. Oh, wow. Even that reduces our armor by 25. Holy shit. I don't know if that's worth losing 25 armor. I don't know. Yeah, let's take that off. I don't think I want to give up that much armor. We'll keep it, but yeah. Alrighty. Cool. So we'll I'll haul these items back to the base, and I'm not going to be able to get them all in one shot. I might have to make a couple of trips. Plus, the Stingray at the moment is completely loaded up with... Well, not completely, but it's decently loaded up with stuff. And everything in here is either stuff I'm going to sell, or they're, basically raw materials or broken down components that, we'll just keep, or ingots that we'll keep at the base, for crafting stuff. All of these extra guns that we have, not all of them, but the cheaper ones in particular, like the SMGs and the Tier 1 shotgun and all that, we can sell. So I want to hang on to those for that purpose, so we can sell them, when we get to a place that has a vendor that will buy them. I don't think there's going to be a place on Akua for that. The Talon, they'll buy and sell things like seeds and food and that sort of thing, but I don't think they do weapons. I could be wrong about that. But, we'll eventually come across a space station or another place on one of the other planets where we can do that. So that's why I'm going to hang on to that stuff and not melt it down. Let's, okay, so let's take a look at the factory. So right now, this is what is in the factory from what we've fed into it. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just do a little bit of time lapse, and I'm going to go through and feed everything except for the CPU extenders into the factory, and we'll see what we end up with when I'm finished doing all of that. All right, let's go. Okay, this is what we ended up with from putting all that stuff in there. If we take a look at the library here, we have enough stuff now to make the warp shuttle, and and we have enough stuff to make the sky fortress. Wait, no, we don't have enough to make the whole thing. We add that to the factory. Yeah, we're still missing this stuff. Sorry, I misread that. Excuse me. So we'll still need all of this, but this is all real basic and easy stuff. Like, for example, I could just take more of these blocks down to get all of the iron. That'll be a piece of cake. We have almost all of the cobalt. The Neo will take a little bit more, but I did mine a bunch of Neo up in space, and I can go back and get more of that if I need to. Carbon substrate's not a big deal. Titanium rods, that's a decent amount of titanium rods, but still also, relatively easy to get. And, we still may take down some more POIs and feed even more in here to reduce that time even more. And I think, too, I got to thinking that I think we are going to spawn this in as our first CV, and we're not going to do the warp shuttle, because the warp shuttle is just real basic, just bare bones capital vessel, for getting to other systems. Whereas this is a more complete ship, and I think that'd be kind of a fun first capital vessel for us. So that is the tentative plan for that at the moment. Now, I'm also wanting to bring in my Jade Jet small vessel. Excuse me. So this one, well, ideally I want to bring in the tier 4, but we have to be level 20, which, by the way, we're really close. We're level 19. So one more level and then we'll be able to, we'll have the level requirement met for this. This is a much more capable small vessel than the Stingray is. It's made out of hardened steel. It's got shields. Might have better guns on it, but it's also much more maneuverable too than the Stingray is. So, we're definitely going to be gunning for that as soon as we can. Then looks like I have 10 devices I have to learn, which is not a big deal. Okay, cool. So, we are done with all of these containers. So why don't we connect to this container here? And what I'm going to do is just take all of these back down, and then we can just throw those into the factory too. Oh, we have to go back to the cube. There we go. All right, now, can I possibly fit one of these in the Stingray? Okay, I can do the tier 2, but I can't do those. Okay, yeah, so what I'm gonna do, guys, I'm gonna go back to the base. I'm gonna offload everything out of the Stingray. I will throw this guy in the deconstructor to get it started, and then I'll come back and grab these other two, and it'll probably take me maybe a couple more trips to do that. And we also need to go do our turn-in too to the Talon, so we will do that after I get these CPU extenders melting up. Melting down. Not melting up, melting down. Yes. Okay, so let's plop the T2 in there and start this up. And, okay, so the tier 2 is not going to give us any of the really high-end stuff, but, still decent stuff. Okay, I'm going to get the Stingray offloaded, then we'll go get the other CPU extenders. Okay, I was able to grab both of the tier 3 extenders and one of the tier 4s. Let's actually put the tier 4 in first. And, oh my god, okay, look what we get. We get 48 Arrestrum, 48 Zascosium, 2 large bridges, and 1 large matrix. Very nice. So basically double all of that for the other tier 4 when we get it. And then, if we put these guys in there... Oh, I guess we won't see what those guys will do until this is all finished. So that being the case, I just want to see what they give us. So let's pull those back out, and we'll put them. Yeah, let's put them in bulk storage for now, because we got a lot more room in bulk storage. So yeah, that's some very valuable stuff there. Awesome. All right, I'm gonna run back and grab the other tier 4 extender. Okay, I put the other tier 4 extender in there. We'll let all of that finish. So just between those two, we're going to have 96 Arrestrum and 96 Zascosium. And I have 10 more Arrestrum and 14 more Zascos in there. So that's really good. All right, now... I think the next move for us is to go do our turn-in with the Talon. So let's do that next. Alright, let's see what El Capitan has to say. Well done. We still see some drone activity here and there, but it seems to be decreasing more and more, which is funny because I haven't seen any drone activity at all. That's beside the point. In your report, there's something about an artifact that connected with the station. Maybe that explains the malfunctions. But the overgrowth you found and all the creatures, that's all quite unsettling. Yeah, tell me about it. We need to report this to Omicron, but we'll do that later. You've done an incredible job. We are deeply grateful. Ixnatesh, my friend. May the goddess protect your path. May the goddess watch over you as well. Is she hot? Probably. I don't know. She might be Talon, so she could still be hot. Anyway, I digress. Okay. Clear Skies Summary. While helping the Talon on Akua to eliminate the threat of what appear to be remotely launched and then out-of-control drones, you have uncovered 1 or 2 secrets from the deeper past. According to the information you found in the logs of the Arcanian researcher Alan Krell, the Talon are apparently descendants of a once highly technical spacefaring civilization. The logs do not give any information on how it came about that they now seem to have dispensed with the corresponding technology. The village chief has also not revealed any further information on this. However, there seems to be a critical issue between the Talon and the Xerax that seems to be partly responsible for this. It is also unclear what the infections and abominations you encountered are all about and what role the artifacts scattered around the moon play. More answers may be found on the planet Omicron or on other moons of the gas giant. All logs that were found can be read in the PDA, under solo missions, open the group, found logs, and etc. Okay. So, where does that leave us? Are we still... Alright, so we're still just friendly with these guys. I suppose we would just need to do, like, repeatable quests. I thought one of you guys said those were broken, though. Like, if you go to the farms and that kind of thing. Let's find the trader again for a second. Hopefully they don't mind if we just land right inside their town here. We're their friends. They don't care. Okay, now, where is the vendor guy? He's right here. Nice parking job. Right, okay, so basically we can only do... Okay, he's got alien organism. But does it have to be this specific looking one? Because I don't have one of those. I've got some of the other kind. Interesting, okay. Oh, we got a thing here. Seal of Credibility, Talon Guardians. Okay, what's this now? Restore your reputation with the faction from hostile or unfriendly to neutral. But, oh, okay, so if we piss them off, we can use this with one of their ambassadors to get back to neutral. That's what that's for. Interesting. Okay, so, yeah, he doesn't even have seeds. Alright, I don't know... No, we can't pick that. I don't know if there's any other vendors in this town. There's Chiefy Weefy. Oh my god, look at all those fish. You have anything to say to us, Chiefy Weefy? You have our deepest gratitude for taking care of this threat. Ixna Tesh, may the gods protect you. Goodbye, may the gods protect your path as well. I have a few questions. Yeah, I have questions. I don't know what they are, but I have them. Can you tell me something about the planet? Can you tell me something about you and your people? Is there anything interesting to discover here? Has there been any recent visitors? Does this name Tosh Akai Talon mean anything to you? With this logo on there... Okay, let's ask about this Tosh Aki or whatever Talon, because I think she was one of the scientists that we found out about in the artifact place. Not really, although there are a few stories from a time before the glorious Syrax Empire, almost a millennium and a half ago. The name appears now and then in connection with the artifacts and a war of silence. She probably played an important role in it, but what exactly is not handed down. In any case, the Tash is no longer here. Or this Tash. If she were, I'd be very surprised. Ha! More information should be available to you from the Elders on Omicron, our original lovely arid home planet in this system. Okay, so they want us to go to Omicron, so does the main story. So Omicron's in our very near future. They're probably talking about the Arcanians here. Let's see. Oh no, that's USC. Nope, I haven't seen it here before. No one from the Off-Worlders has been here in the last few months anyway. If you want to find these people, you should look on our original homeworld of Omicron, conveniently located in this solar system. If you arrive by ship, you've certainly passed by there. Ask the Elders or the Off-Worlders there. Maybe they can help you. Okay. Anything else interesting to discover? There are some, like the Fields of Ruins. If you see a tall tower on the horizon, you can assume there are a lot of old walls there too. In these, there are often found artifacts of a species unknown to us. Many off-worlders must have tried to decipher them a long time ago. Their science stations and surveillance camps can still be found. Some are even populated by the disoriented robots they left behind. Okay. What about the planet? There's not much to tell. We thank our ancestors for a temperate climate, sufficient rain, fertile soil, and except for a few smaller beasts, there are really no dangerous creatures anywhere on this moon during the day. At night, however, you should be careful. Better find shelter, wait for the morning, otherwise it's a lush planet and has something to offer in the different vegetation zones for almost every taste and almost every medical application. Okay. And about you and your people. Sure, I'm the village chief of this settlement. The moon, as well as the others you see in the sky, are in a restricted area of space. We rarely welcome any visitors. Even pirates and other riffraff don't come this way often. However, there's not much to get here of interest beyond strange artifacts and some remains from ancient times. On the other moons, it might be different. We have no contact beyond our own lands that are not really interested in the cost of a journey, technology, or its application. We do without these as well as we can. Okay, so a little more backstory there. So the question now is there anything really left for us to do on Akua? We're obviously going to continue doing stuff for the Talon once we get to Omicron, which will take care of getting our rep all the way up to him, so I'm not really going to grind rep here. There's some small wreckages, some tech ruins. I suppose we could go explore... Alright, I gotta go get my Sath plates. We could go explore these ruins. Yeah, we were, I think we were already there. One of you guys told me in the comments that if I see a chevron, then it's an admin core and I can't do anything with it. Small wreckage, not really interested in the small wreckage. It's not worth our time. We could look at a tech ruins, I guess. Let's go check this out and just see what it is. I want to stop here for just a second and see if this is still broken. Yeah, it's still broken. Okay, so we're supposed to be able to get like little jobs from those guys for rep, but it's not working. So we shall not do that. Doesn't really look like there's... Oh, shit. Who else is shooting? Oh, right. We've already been to this, not this specific place, but a place like this. Hold still so I can kill you. Alright, trying to remember... Let me get my light on. I don't know, was there anything significant here? Besides, you know, just looting the android guys? Here. Turn you off. There's this. Alright, that was definitely worth getting. Not. Let's connect to the Stingray. Cannot... Oh, here. Player. What the hell? Stingray, connect. We'll get the stuff from that. Not that it was hardly worth the effort. I'm not gonna go try and find all those guys I killed in the grass. Forget that. Well, these guys we can loot. You know, we have quite a collection of commodity stuff that we'll be able to sell once we find a vendor. I was gonna say, I think that guy's got a gun. Bitch. Yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna try and find them in the grass. Too much pain in the ass. Yeah, there's nothing up here. So yeah, I'm thinking, guys, we're pretty much finished with Akua as far as doing anything directly on the planet. We'll keep our you know, base here for now while we stay in this system, most likely. But I think we're pretty much done otherwise with doing anything on the planet directly. So I think the next plan is that we're going to get to level 20 so that I can spawn in my tier 4 Jade Jet. And also I want to work towards getting the Sky Fortress CV as our first capital vessel, which we can already do that now in terms of, you know, level. We just need the rest of the resources for it, which shouldn't really take me too long to grind out, I don't think. But with the caveat that I'm going to spawn it into creative mode first and just look at it and make sure it's something I actually want. You know, before I do that. So I think that's the plan. So why don't we plan on in the next episode going off into space and probably starting on the main storyline Operation Phoenix Lost and Found, which it wants us to fly to Omicron. And then while we're there, we can also pick up with the Talon and keep working on, you know, whatever they want us to do to get our rep all the way up with them. So that is the tentative plan. And I think with that, we're going to wrap up the episode here. This is just kind of a good stopping point for us, I think. And I may spend a little bit of time off camera grinding for the Phoenix if I decide it's what I want. Sorry, not the Phoenix, the Skyfortress, the Forged Skyfortress. So, yeah, like I said, this is not going to be difficult at all for us to do. In fact, do I have... Yeah, it doesn't look like I really have a lot of ore left other than this magnesium. I've got... Yeah, we've got all the cobalt that we would need. Oh, I've got 522 Neo. Okay, well, we still don't have enough Neo, but we got almost half of it. And, you know, the titanium rods, carbon substrate, iron, that'll probably just go back to the abandoned base and just get a bunch more blocks to fill that in. And then we should be good to go on that. So, yeah. Plan for the next episode. Go to Omicron, start the main storyline. With that being said, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, share out the video. And we'll catch y'all in the very next episode. What did I just do with that? I put it in here. Put it in there so we can put it in here. $2,000 make you holla.